Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is the video for IGCSE and O'Level Economics paper 2, and in this video I'll be explaining you the answers to the guest paper questions that are basically predicted for June 2024 exam series, and this is for June 2024 exam series. So I'll be explaining you the answers to all of the questions, and I request if any one of you can listen to the explanation and can type these answers and share the PDF with me, or can attach the PDF in the comments of this video. That will be definitely helpful for many of the students. Otherwise, all of you can listen to me whatever I'm saying for these questions. So first of all, I'll try to answer these questions as fast as possible, because making long videos is really tough, and then editing them and then posting them on YouTube also takes a lot of time. So question number 1 is identify two functions of money. Right, so when examiner says identify, it does not mean that you have to explain them, so you have to just identify the functions. There are 4 functions: medium of exchange, measure of value, standard of deferred payment, and store of value. So these are 4 functions, and you can identify any 2 of them. Second question is identify 2 reasons why death rate may vary between countries. So again, you have to identify, not explain them. So the 2 reasons that can affect death rate in different countries include nutrition, and the second one is medical facilities. And question number 3 is identify 2 influences on which country country a person decides to work in. Right, so people generally decide to work in a country that has greater safety, job security, and better infrastructure, better educational facilities, and better medical facilities. So these are different things that generally affect the people to work in a certain country. So you can identify any 2 of them. Question number 4 is identify 2 reasons why rich households spend more than the average households. They have greater income, so greater purchasing power, and the second reason can be they spend more of their income on luxurious products that are expensive than the basic necessities. Right. Second, question number 5 is define opportunity cost. It is the cost of next best alternative foregone by choosing another item. And question number 6 is describe a possible opportunity cost of a student going to university. The possible opportunity cost of a student going to university can be the amount of money that is sacrificed, which could have been earned by doing a job instead of going to university, is the opportunity cost. Define resources. Resources are the factors of production that are needed to produce goods and services, including land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Identify 2 factors of production. Factors of production include land, labor, capital, and enterprise. You can identify any 2 of them. You can also say natural resources, human resources, and man-made resources. And question number 9 is what is meant by scarce resources. These are the limited resources which are needed to satisfy unlimited human wants. And the next question is what is meant by the economic problem. Economic problem refers to the scarcity of resources, which means resources are limited and wants are unlimited. Okay, so keep in mind all of these questions are for 2 marks. And for 2 marks, you have to identify 2 things, or you have to define something. Okay, so question number 11 says, why can economic problem never be solved? Economic problem is the scarcity of resources, which means resources are limited and wants are unlimited, and this problem can never be solved because people always want more than what they already have. and wants are always unlimited and they keep evolving with time. Question number 12 is what is meant by the factors of production, capital, land, labor and enterprise. So examiner will not ask all of them, but maybe he may ask one or two of them. So capital is the man-made resource which is used to produce further goods and services such as machinery, technology and tools. Land is the natural resource such as seas, rivers, minerals, mines, forests, glaciers, mountains, lakes. Labor is the human resource or physical and mental efforts that are used to produce goods and services. And enterprise is the risk-taking ability of entrepreneurs in which they combine all factors of production to undertake the production process. Question number 3 is identify the reward for land, labor, capital and enterprise. The reward for land is rent, reward for labor is wages and salaries, reward for capital is interest, and reward for enterprise is profit. Question number 14 says define production possibility curve. It is a graph which shows different combinations of two products that can be produced with the given resources and within a given period of time. Question number 15 is what is meant by an industry being capital intensive. Capital intensive is an industry that uses more machinery and less labor force. And question number 16 is what is meant by an industry being labor intensive. Labor intensive industry is the one that uses more labor and less machinery, technology and tools. Define demand. Demand is the desire that is supported by willingness and ability to pay for a product. And identify two factors on what products a person buys, right? So two influences mean like the two factors that influence the demand of a product, right? So the two factors that may influence the demand of a product may include like income, and number 2 is taste and trends, right? And population, advertisement, there are so many factors. Define supply. Supply is the availability of a product in the market for sale at a given market price. And giving give an example, define a sales tax, right? So giving an example, define tax rate, sales tax. Sales tax is a type of indirect tax that is imposed on goods and services, such as you can give examples such as general sales tax, value added tax and custom duties. Define external cost. External cost is the cost paid by the third party and it includes pollution. Define private cost. Private cost is paid by the producers for producing goods and services and consumer for consuming goods and services. Define external benefit. These are benefits to the third party, and third party is a person who is neither producer nor consumer. An example of external benefit can be like plantation, vaccination and education. Monetary policy is the policy of central bank of the country that manipulates money supply, interest rate and exchange rate of currency to achieve multiple macroeconomic objectives. Define productivity. Productivity is a measure of efficiency of workers or labor force, and it represents output produced by one worker. Or productivity is the output per worker. If you don't remember the definition, then you can just write total output or total production divided by number of workers employed. Generally, productivity is found for labor. However, sometimes productivity can be calculated for all of the factor inputs. So you can also say that productivity is equal to total output divided by total input. Input means all the resources. Define money. Money is something that is used as a medium of exchange and it can store the value or wealth. And identify two functions of money. Functions of money I have already told you in the first question as well. Medium of exchange is the function of money, which means money is used to purchase goods and services. Identify two forms of money in which in the modern world. In the modern world we have like money in the form of currency notes, coins and cryptocurrency as well as digital money. Define privatization. It is the process in which government sells its institutions to the private individuals and companies. And define nationalization. It is a process in which government purchases assets and liabilities of private ownership, privately owned businesses. And define multinational company, the company that has production units in more than one countries, such as KFC, McDonald's, Lever Brothers, Procter and Gamble. Identify two government economic aims. Standard Chartered Bank is also a multinational company. Identify two government economic aims. Economic aims like include controlling inflation, controlling unemployment, achieving economic growth, correcting balance of payment deficit. So these are multiple objectives and you can identify any two of them. Define gross domestic product or GDP. It is the total market value of all the goods and services produced in a country in 1 year. Define unemployment. Unemployment as a phenomena in which a job seeker after due search is unable to find a job. And now moving to question number 36. Define weighted price index. Weighted price index is the measure of calculating inflation, and it basically takes into consideration multiple products and their and different weightages that are allocated to each product. So it is a measure of calculating inflation. And define inflation. It is a persistent rise in general price level over time. Define death rate. It is the number of people died in a given period of time out of total population per thousand, right? So number of people died divided by total population into 1000, right? So death rate and birth rates are calculated per thousand. All other figures are calculated in percentage, mean out of 100, but birth and death rate are the two variables that are calculated in thousand. So death rate is number of people died divided by total population into 1000, right? Birth rate will be number of babies born in a given time divided by total population into 100. Now moving to question number 40. Identify two characteristics of a developed country. Developed country is a rich country that has greater national GDP, national income or GDP, and its more reliance is on the tertiary sector. And define capital goods. Capital goods are the goods that are used to produce further goods and services such as machinery. Specialization is a process of process in which one person performs one task, and it is like when people do whatever they are best at, and it increases productivity of labor as well. And define trade balance. Trade balance or balance of trade. It is the summary of visible exports and imports, or export and imports of goods, right? So balance of trade is the balance of visible exports and imports. Define foreign exchange rate. Foreign exchange rate is the value of a currency in terms of another currency, or price of a currency in terms of another currency. Define price discrimination. Price discrimination is a process in which seller charges different prices to the different customers for the same product. Sometimes you might have experienced that as well. The seller charges different price to you and different price to someone else. Define dumping. It is another example of like price discrimination, but it takes place in the international market when one country like sells its products at cheaper rates in another country than its own country. Generally, China dumps goods to the developing nations, low income countries, right? So dumping is charging lower prices. Like it is kind of price discrimination, but at international level. Price discrimination is when you charge different prices for the same product to different customers within the country, such as WAPTA charges different prices, unit prices of electricity to different people for like industrial use, and for domestic use prices are different for electricity. Dumping is like I gave you the example, when you sell goods in your own country at cheaper rates, maybe at expensive rates, but in another country at cheaper rates to capture large number of customers internationally. Identify two features of perfect competition or monopoly. Perfect competition is a market structure in which there are millions of sellers or a lot of sellers selling homogeneous products, and there is no barrier to entry and exit. And monopoly is the single dominating firm in the industry that discriminates prices and sells differentiated products. Define full employment. Full employment is a phenomena when all the resources that are willing and able to work are employed, and during full employment cyclical unemployment is zero. And define equilibrium. Equilibrium is the market condition where demand and supply are equal, or quantity demand is equal to quantity supplied. In other words, you can say that equilibrium takes place where demand and supply curves intersect each other. Define price elasticity of demand. It is the responsiveness of quantity demand to a change in price, and it is calculated as PED is equal to percentage change in quantity demand over percentage change in price. Identify two factors of production factors that affect PED. The two factors that may affect PED include time period and nature of product. Number of substitutes is another factor, like you have to identify only two. Define price elasticity of supply. It is the responsiveness of quantity supply to a change in price, and it is calculated as PES is equal to percentage change in quantity supply over percentage change in price. Again, I would request if any one of you who is listening me can like write down whatever I'm saying for the answers of these questions, then you can type them, make a PDF and share that PDF with all other people that are connected to this group. And you can like share that in like comments. Maybe you can connect it. If you can attach the file there, just try to like look into that, or otherwise you can generate any link and send that link to me, or you may send that link in the comments so that all other students who are connected to this channel can benefit out of that. Otherwise you can listen to me and keep in mind all the definitions that I'm basically explaining right now. Identify two factors of PES. Time period and nature of product are the factors of PES. Factors of PES and PED, two factors are common, that is time period and nature of product, right? Other factors are different, but you can identify these two factors for both of them. Define elastic, inelastic and inelastic supply. Elastic supply is when a change in price leads to more than proportionate change in quantity supply. Inelastic supply is when a change in price leads to a less than proportionate change in quantity supply. In simple words, you can also say that elastic supply is when a small change in price leads to greater change in quantity supply. Inelastic supply is when a large change in price leads to a smaller change in quantity supply. Define elastic and inelastic demand. Again, the same definition, but you will have to replace the word supply with demand. And elastic supply is when a change in price leads to more than proportionate change in quantity demand. Inelastic demand is when a change in price leads to less than proportionate change in quantity demand. What is meant by protectionism? Protectionism include the methods that are used by the government to protect local industry from international competition, such as tariff, quota, embargo. Identify two methods of protectionism. Different methods of protectionism include like tariff, quota, embargoes, and so you can identify any two of them. What is meant by tariff or quota? Tariff is a form of tax that is imposed on imported goods, and quota is the physical limitation that is imposed on the quantity of goods that can be imported into the country. Define market disequilibrium. Market disequilibrium is when quantity demand is not equal to quantity supply. If quantity demand is equal to quantity supply, that is equilibrium. When they are not equal, that is disequilibrium. Define direct and indirect tax. Direct tax is a kind of tax which is imposed on income, profit, or property. Indirect tax is a tax that is imposed on spending, such as like sales tax, value added tax, customs, and excise duties. Identify examples of direct and indirect tax. I have already identified the examples. Direct tax include income tax, corporation tax, and inheritance tax. Indirect tax include general sales tax, value added tax, custom, and excise duties. Identify two components of current account of balance of payment. Current account of balance of payment has multiple components like trade in goods, trade in services, current transfers, and income flows. These are like the four components of current account, and you can identify the names of any of two. Like you may say trade in goods and trade in services. State two benefits a country may gain from immigration. Immigration means more people are coming into the country, right? One is emigration, that starts with E. ME, in ME you can like use E for exit, people are leaving the country, and I mean coming in. So immigration is when people are coming into the country. So if more people are coming into the country, then two benefits may include greater availability of labor force and lesser wages for number two can be the lesser wages for the employers. And the other benefits may include like more inflow of technical skills into the country. Okay, so next is define macroeconomics and microeconomics. Micro and macroeconomics. Microeconomics is the branch of economics that deals with economic issues at individual level, while macroeconomics deals with the economic issues of the entire country. State two objectives of firms. Two objectives of firms may include like profit maximization, sales revenue maximization, survival, growth, right? So you can mention any two of them. State two objectives of the government. Government's two objectives may include controlling inflation, controlling unemployment, achieving economic growth. State two objectives of workers. Workers want to get safety, job safety, better fringe benefits like company car, accommodation, and they also want promotion as well. Define fixed cost and identify its example. Fixed cost is the cost that is fixed by nature and it does not change with the change in output. An example can be like rent, interest on loans. Like rent of the building is always fixed, right? It doesn't depend upon the level of output you produce. You have to pay that rent. Interest on loans and cost of insurance, these are the fixed cost. Define variable cost and identify its examples. Variable costs are the costs that vary with the output, and examples may include like cost of raw material, wages of non-permanent staff, electricity charges, etc. So they depend on the quantity of output produced. So this is the complete video of like all the questions for 2 marks, right? In the next video I'll explain you 4 mark questions, all of these like 17 questions. And again I request if any of you can like devote himself for typing all these things that I'm speaking right now and share the PDF with all other people here, then it will be definitely helpful. Because of like shortage of time, I can't basically type all of them, so I'm trying to like speak as quickly as possible so that I can convey the message effectively and you come to know how to answer these questions. So in the next video like I'll be explaining 4 mark questions. So see you soon, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.